Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we're going to talk about beating the fear of being seen. Yes, yes. The vibe is royale, the vibe is aesthetic. It's pineapple. I have a golden pineapple here. Such a nice microphone holder. This is supposed to be what is it called? I don't even know what these are called. Hold on, let me search this up like real quick. This is a bottle opener and I'm using it aesthetically for aesthetic purposes. Yes, sue me. Anyway, what is the fear of being seen? Where does it come from and why do we even have this fear, right? Fear of being seen or heard in general. It looks like you really like to post something online, you really like to wear something special, unique to your own style, but you feel so afraid of being judged that you can't do it. This can also look like wanting to say something like an opinion of yours or a statement or just anything that just you're like expressing your thoughts. You want to express your thoughts basically, but you feel so blocked you can't do it because you are so afraid of what people are going to say about you, and you feel like you cannot defend yourself. You feel like you cannot handle the criticism that will come at you. That is basically what the fear of being seen is, and it's usually connected with the fear of being heard as well, because you can neither be seen doing anything nor saying anything without that shame, without that, just hiding yourself. But here's the thing, we all desire to be loved, we all desire to be understood. So this desire of being loved and understood contradicts with this fear. It's really hard to be authentic when you have this fear. It's really hard to just be who you really want to be and be comfortable in your own skin with this fear existing. So I'm going to give you some steps that I have used in my personal experience that helped me overcome this fear of being seen. Do I look better with glasses or without the glasses? I don't know, because I'm kind of blind, so I have to like read my script from here and I can't see without my glasses, so it's kind of difficult. The first thing that I've done that helped me so much with this fear is exposure therapy. And I've talked about this in my first video. It's basically exposing yourself to that environment or that thing that you are most afraid of, but making sure that you're doing it gradually. You're making small steps towards beating that fear. You will need the skill of self-regulation and self-compassion in order to do this successfully. The thing with self-compassion, I know most of people struggle with this. I know a lot of my friends and people that I talk to have this lack of self-compassion, as if they really hate themselves, as if they really don't want the good for themselves. And honestly, it's not going to help you become better. It's not going to help you to get closer to your goals or in a better mental health if you're not compassionate towards yourself. The thing about self-compassion is you have to separate yourself from yourself. Does that make sense? You have to be able to treat yourself as if you were another person whose best interest you hold at heart. That's the kind of mindset that I have. I am literally my own best friend. I treat myself as if I'm my closest friend, because if I don't do this, I will keep self-sabotaging. I will keep disrespecting myself over and over again. It's so hard to stay regulated when you keep self-sabotaging like this. And the way that I faced my own fear of being seen was by practicing talking to myself in front of the camera repeatedly until I got used to it. And that was the first step. The second step was the hardest, which was having to post it online. That was something that I was really afraid of because of what people were going to say about me. So I had to apply this mindset of, I'm doing this to experiment with my style. I'm doing this to explore what I like creating and whether I want to keep doing more of it or not. And the thing is, the people that I used to know in my high school were actually watching my videos, and even like some of my neighbors were watching my videos, and I saw them liking my videos. I saw them like following me even. So I did have this like, I had this fear. I was like, oh my gosh, like what am I supposed to do now? Like, am I supposed to hide myself now? Am I humiliating myself right now? It was really deep. It was really this kind of like shame that I felt in the beginning, but eventually I just thought to myself, so what? Like, so what if my neighbors follow me? So what if someone that my family knows saw my content? So what if my high school colleagues talk about me? Like, so what? You know what I mean? It's not going to improve me in any way, nor improve them, because if they're going to talk about it in a good way, that's really good for me. If they're going to talk bad about me, then it's really not my problem. They're just projecting their own insecurities on me. I did have the fear of looking cringy and looking very silly for others, but I always made sure to tune out that inner critical voice, and I made sure that I focused on my purpose. That's what's going to get me somewhere, right? It's not by listening to my critical voice, right? That's not going to help me in any way. I actually heard somewhere that our critical voice is not even ours. It's someone else's voice. It's our family, our society, the people that used to bully us when we were younger, maybe even social media. We have adopted these voices into our system, and it's not benefiting us in any way, yet we still keep believing them. I just remembered another thing that helped me a lot. I was Snapchatting videos to my closest friends while I was talking to myself on the phone. I was expressing myself. I was talking about topics that I was really interested in, and I still do this till this day. Shout out to my friends because they know this. I would not stop yapping. It's like a whole podcast in my Snapchat, to be honest. It's really something that helped me so much to express myself freely and to just unblock my throat chakra, if you know what I mean. I blocked myself so much from talking when I was younger because I was so bullied for who I was as a child that I ended up closing myself and not being confident enough to just speak, because I would nitpick at myself for speaking, and I would be embarrassed if I made a mistake, and I would be like, it was the smallest things ever, and I would humiliate myself over them. But that was actually a reflection of my traumas and the bullies and all of those bad experiences that I had as a child, and that had nothing to do with the person that I want to become. So I had to wake up eventually. And the good thing about using Snapchat as my safe space was that I would actually record videos, right? And I would keep them to myself in my memories. Like, I don't even have to send them to my friends, and they would be reserved for my future self. I would look back at them and I would just smile while listening and looking through them because of the change that I noticed, the improvement in my speaking, in expressing myself. I get really happy about it. I get really proud of myself because it just shows how much work that I've put in there. So it's really nice. It's really nice. I recommend doing this, honestly. Like, if you're really afraid of doing these big things like posting on social media or YouTube or just anywhere, or just dressing up as yourself boldly, I recommend that you dress up for yourself, recording that video for yourself first, just for you to see it first. Then you can maybe start posting little by little. The second thing that helps beat the fear of being seen is developing discernment. And what I mean by this is that you need to form your own opinion. You need to have your own perspective of the world, or else you will get swayed by every comment you will get. You will get very affected by criticism, and you're going to have to separate emotions from logic. And in order to do that, I usually pause and take 5 breaths, maximum. Get curious. That's the thing. You have to get curious about your feelings, why you feel a certain way. You shouldn't avoid these feelings. Suppressing them only makes them worse. You should be curious about why you have these feelings in the first place. That's a way of observing your feelings instead of letting them control you. You also have to see where you feel it in your body and then let it go. You don't have to stay with it any longer. You can sit with it a little bit because that is one way to help get through your feelings, but you don't have to sit with it for so long. Actually, you have to release it afterwards, and you have to let it go, let it free, let it flow. Just let it be. Let it guide you, you know. Sometimes your feelings can guide you in a good way. I don't know about that, but like, you know, that's usually intuition that guides you. But anyway, but I also think that journaling helps so much with articulating your thoughts, like differentiating between what's real and what's not, you know, what's a real thought and what's just anxiety. Talking to yourself as well helps. You can either talk to yourself in the mirror or just talk to yourself while you're sitting down, or you can record a voice memo. That also helps a lot. I do use voice memos to process my thoughts a lot. It's like you're having this third perspective of yourself and how you're dealing with this situation. It's really nice to have that. It's a really great skill to have. So discernment, you have to separate between the facts, what's factual, and what's not real, what's not good for you, what's really bad for you. You can develop discernment by doing these practices, or you can read more about it in books, or you can watch videos about it on YouTube, read articles about it. But anyways, it's more of a practice than just reading about it, to be honest. You have to keep practicing it over and over again. The third thing to beat the fear of being seen is self-belief. You heard it. Self-belief. If I didn't have self-belief, do you think that I will be here today recording this video? No, honey, I wouldn't even be here. Honestly, look, self-belief is so essential to getting what you want, to getting anything, actually. If you don't have self-belief, why are you even alive? Why are you even here? Like, what's the point? Self-belief is knowing your potential and deciding to act on it, regardless of your circumstances. Self-belief is a mindset. It's knowing your potential and deciding to act on it despite your circumstances. There's a freaking motorcycle over there. I have to like repeat this. You have to be Delulu. Be Delulu, because that's the Delulu, right? Okay. And the thing is, your mind cannot separate what's real and what's not. Your mind cannot separate reality from imagination. That's why visualization works. That's why we do vision boards. Each person has a method that works for them. You don't have to use just one method. I honestly use a lot of methods. It doesn't even matter. Self-belief, very important to have. It keeps you stable. It keeps you focused on your goals, on whatever you desire, and it helps you get there quicker. Matter of fact, it helps you get there while you're actually having fun. You're actually enjoying the process of it. You enjoy the process of getting your manifestations. The fourth and the last thing that's going to help you beat the fear of being seen is self-trust. Now, I know self-trust can be very similar to self-belief, but let me tell you where the difference is. Self-trust is your relationship with yourself. It's basically how you treat yourself, right? Self-trust is also this inner assurance that you can rely on yourself even when the outcomes are uncertain. Having this trust that even when something unpredictable happens, which happens all the time, by the way, because life is unpredictable, that you will still trust yourself. It does go hand in hand with self-belief though, because you can believe that you're talented, but you can still doubt yourself. It goes the other way around as well. You can trust yourself to figure something out, even if you don't believe that you'll get the best outcome. I don't know about you, but I believe that self-belief is way stronger than self-trust. I don't know, like, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. So the way to build self-trust is by making small commitments with yourself. For example, I committed to reading a book twice a week in order to achieve my goal of reading 3 books a year. It helps a lot to make specific goals, to make it as specific as possible, like breaking these goals into small actionable steps, also defining what that exactly looks like. So it looks like reading 5 pages each of those 2 days of the week. Specifically, during bedtime when I'm already in bed because I have some time to spare, and it also helps me wind down. Okay, so I want to make sure that my videos are practical, so I actually got you guys some journal prompts and actionable steps that you can start doing now. So here are some journal prompts that you can use to beat this fear of being seen. What parts of me do I hide because I fear rejection? Whose opinion am I most afraid of, and why? If I believed in myself and trusted myself enough, how would I show up differently? What values or beliefs anchor me regardless of outside opinions? By the way, I'm going to give you a list of values here that you can use that helped me a lot to decide what my values were. And for me, my top 3 values are honesty, fulfillment, and community. And the next prompt is, what emotions come up when I imagine myself being seen, and how would I comfort myself if I were my closest friend? Which fears are based on my past experiences, and which assumptions are about the future? And lastly, what's one small risk I can take this week to express myself? And now, jumping onto the actionable steps, take that one small risk that you just wrote about and make some time for it this week. Schedule it in your calendar or set it as a reminder. Take a breath and say to yourself, I intend on expressing myself authentically today. Change your physical reality that looks closer to your most authentic self. That could look like expressing yourself through your style, through clothing, or adding something into your room that aligns with your desired self. You can also remove something if it doesn't align with you. Do an act of self-expression. That could be writing, singing, dancing, painting, drawing. There's so many ways to express, and share it with a friend that you feel very comfortable with. Comment on someone else's post with encouragement. Support other small creators. Support others' small achievements as if you've achieved them yourself. Journal about the times that you were seen and it went well. Write down words of encouragement that were given by other people to you and the good impact that you put on them, even if it's small as making them smile. Now, remember that the first step of beating a fear is acknowledging it. Challenge that fear and practice more self-compassion, and stay consistent with your practices. Remember that consistency looks very different on everybody, and it might not look linear, so take it easy on yourself. Drop in the comments what's one baby step you'll take this week to be seen. And as always, thank you for watching my video. I love you. Bye-bye.